Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships that empower each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest has become a very dear friend and inspiration on our own journey. Back again to share her feminine wisdom with us today is the ever beautiful Susan Gala. Welcome back to the table, Susan. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you, ladies. I'm always so inspired with you. It's always a piece of wisdom coming out, or a story, or a language, or like I can sense that feeling of joy and happiness and freedom also that you embody. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
That's really sweet. So for any new listeners we might have today, can you give us a brief overview of who you are and what it is you do?
Yes, of course. I'm a feminine wisdom teacher, a wise woman. I help women unveil their magic, their feminine energy, their creativity that lives within the womb.
So cool.
Right?
So cool.
And we have talked on other podcasts about some of the memories and things that are held in the womb. And I know that you had something really special that you wanted to talk about today. So
Yes.
Go ahead.
I actually want to speak to you about your womb and the sacral chakra. I call it your sacred portal, your womb portal, your temple, the place where everything began, where we were inspired, where we were seeded. It's the beginning of it all. So imagine that we, as women sitting here right now, were once a seed.
Wow.
And we were planted within the womb of our mother. And in that womb, we were nourished, we were nurtured, we were fluid, we were free. And then we bloomed into birth, right? And came out into this world.
Okay.
And then I want you to visualize, just like a seed, we plant seeds into the earth, into Mother Gaia, and Mother Gaia is the great womb. And as that seed is planted, that seed is nourished by the sun and nurtured by Earth's vibrations. And then it blossoms into this beautiful flower. And you can think of us also like a flower from that seed. We're always blossoming. We're always growing.
I'm sorry, I'm totally interrupting. What came to my mind is that moment when you go out into the sunshine and you feel the warmth of the sun rays hitting you, and you feel that. Like, I think everyone has experienced that. Like, if you think of that, and I could just feel that nurturing from the sun. I was like, no wonder why we love that feeling. Like, some people are out sunbathing because they want that feeling, that nurturing. Interesting. I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, because you feel like you're being hugged again, just like you were in the womb. The more you can, as a female, the more you can connect to Mother Nature, you'll really embody her vibrations, because we are a vibration. We are energy. When we have awareness that we are energy and can connect to it. And those energies in our sacral chakra, it's inspiration, it's creativity, it's passion, it's sensuality, it's sexuality. It's the home of our female organs also, which are very energetic. Now, the opposite of those energies are, emotions, troubled emotions, right? Of disconnect, feelings of not being wanted, feelings of not being held in community, feelings of shame. But that can always change once we are very, very aware of sensing what is happening to us. And by sensing all of that, we could think about, which I've spoken about before, is that center of our being, that core, that feminine energy is important for vitality, important for well-being, because it is the foundation for movement. It's the foundation for life. Think about that foundation and our spinal column, like I had mentioned before. But now imagine that spinal column being the trunk of a tree. And the branches coming out of that trunk of the tree is part of your nervous system, which sends energy up and down your spinal column from your root chakra up to your crown chakra. But now I want you to think of it as your emotions that I just spoke about. Think of those emotions flowing with the breeze, being energized by the sun, birthing into or being inspired by new ideas with the vibration of all the energy around us.
Wow.
Because we're energy and nature is energy. So how can we create this connection in our bodies, right? We could do it through different people. We could do it by creating a piece of art. We can do it by, believe it or not, cooking or the food that we eat and sensing it. We could do it by the experiences, like the experience right now that everyone might be having while we're talking. It could be the sensation and the inspiration could come from the piece of fabric on your body. What does that feel like to you? Or what does the color, how does that color energize you? So sensation and creativity comes from all these other different things, but the first is connecting to that sacral chakra and making sure that that energy and those emotions are balanced. And it's work. It's not easy. We're the only ones that could have the desire or say yes to feeling better, to moving our bodies, to listening to our body's wisdom, to taking a step forward, to walking outside and being into nature, to being open to possibilities, to sharing with other women in our community. So we could feel full, we could be uplifted, we could be inspired. All of that will help us birth our creativity. And whatever that means to you, wherever you find creation, like you ladies right now, this is part of your creativity, your podcast.
Yeah.
Creativity just isn't art.
Yeah. Right.
Creativity to me is also like a state of being. It's how you're feeling. It's just moving your body or dancing to get that energy flowing fluidly again in this sacred center. So how do we tune into our body? We could do it just exactly how I told you. Tune into your body through movement, which is real important. In the morning, the first thing that I do is, you're going to laugh, I'm actually going to get up.
Okay.
I get up out of bed, I take a walk to the kitchen, and I grab my water, and I got to move my hips. I just have to move my hips, and I have to move my hips every way I could think of it. Think of having a hula hoop on you. I was never good at hula hoops. Let me trust you. I was never good at a hula hoop, but I know one thing: if I have my legs really far apart and then just move my body and sway it or swirl it or spiral my energy. from my pelvis to my belly, to my chest, to my breast, to my neck, to my arms, and just let that energy flow in your body, right? And then take that flow and integrate it with your alignment, connecting yourself to all your chakras, or connecting yourself to your posture for presence.
Right.
So when you have that core energy flowing in, you create in front of you and everywhere you go more confidence, more presence. And you can send that energy out into the world. So that's also part of the creative process, by thinking of having that awareness of, wow, what did I just do? I actually feel a lot better. I feel maybe a little bit more rooted or grounded, right? Rooted and grounded has to do with the root chakra. Fluidity, being in the flow, being feminine, being watery. We were born in water, is that little movement. And when you're creative, you are creating a lot of movement and vibration in your body.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense.
Yes.
Connie is over here in the comments, and she says, good morning. I need more movement, and that she loves what you are saying.
I love this because it's like you're connecting, like we have all these things coming at us, but if we we've been talking about like creating morning rituals that are helping us to feel more empowered. Talk about feeling empowered when you have woken up and connected to your energy first thing in the morning. I mean, we drop in and we meditate, but creating that energy movement. We've talked with Michelle Brown about moving our energy in different ways. Like I
Very
love
much like
all of this. And if you've ever taken belly dancing, you know exactly what Susan's doing with her hips. Like I was like, oh, that's belly dancing movement. We're just like, we're just gonna do a little belly dancing and wake the body up this morning. I think that's fabulous.
Right.
Like, and that might be why I love belly dancing so much, because it is really and it's always been for myself, is connecting to the spine and everything all together and moving in that fluid motion and being able to move just one part so it helps it move better. Like wow.
Well,
all these pieces just came together by speaking with you. I love it so much.
Yes, like move all those stories around that have been sitting there through ancestors that are in your womb, and just start shifting that energy and push it out and bury it, push it away from you. So let's think of a little womb dance here. It just came to mind. I don't know, I'm just creating it right now with you. You could stand if you want to. You could sit.
Let's see if we have room to stand.
Okay, let's stand.
I'm going to turn the phone up just a little bit so you guys can see what we're doing. There we go.
Okay, we're standing.
What I'd like you to, you could close your eyes if you want, but if you feel that there's something in your way and your eyes are closed, or you feel like you're going to get dizzy, we're not going to do it. So first, let's stand with our feet in a line with our knees, which will be in a line with our hips, right? I want you to feel very connected to Mother Earth right now. As you're doing that, your body is going to maybe sway a little bit front or back when you feel very connected to her. And then it's probably going to stop swaying, and you may feel like you're moving forward, or feel like you're moving forward. And that would be your perfect place right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Open up your feet. Open up your toes a little bit. Feel the roots of your feet sinking down into Mother Earth's roots. Down into her womb. Her soil might be a little cool right now, but she has lots of roots because there's lots of buds underneath that soil that are going to be blooming into flowers. I want you to keep the image of a bud and a flower. I want you to think of a beautiful color that you really embody and a type of flower that you embody. Then you're going to take your index fingers and connect your index fingers together and your thumbs together and place your navel right in front of those fingers. Soften your knees so your knees aren't locked out.
So pointer fingers are facing down, thumbs are above the belly button.
So your palms are facing towards you.
Yes. Okay, your knees are soft. Open your feet now wider than your hips so you feel a little bit more grounded.
Okay.
And we are going to take a big circle to your right. And as you do that, I want you to lower your right hip down and your left hip up. And you're going to circle around to the left 3 times. You're going to take an inhale through your nose and imagine that bud right now. What color is she? What type of flower are you going to bloom? Inhaling in, your belly is going to bloom like that flower. And then come back to center. And as you're blooming into that flower, let her grow. Feel the sensation of her color. And now circle your hips to the other way. Feel the sensation of her color. Smell the flower. What is that scent like? What does that scent feel like? 2 more times to your left. 1 more time. What does that flower look like? Come back to your center and exhale. Soften your belly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rock our pelvis front and back. Nice and easy, nice and slowly.
Move my back.
Again, let's go back to your bud. You're going to inhale in. And your belly's going to bloom. And she starts blooming into that flower. What does she feel like as she's blooming? What does she look like? It's just like a creation. What are you creating? What does that creation look like? If it's a piece of art, if it's a dance, if it's a new project, what is that blooming into? And come back to center. And exhale. As you exhale, that flower folds back up into a bud. And now what I want you to do is just swirl those hips to the side. Bring your spine into it like you're spiraling. Bring your shoulders into it. Imagine that this is now a figure 8. The infinity sign. And reverse that infinity 8.
Oh, that's a lot harder than it sounds.
It's a lot of work doing this, right? So as you're connecting with your womb center, you're also connecting with your heart to inspire you to love and care for that project that you are birthing from your sacred portal. Come back to center. Lower your arms to your side. Gently flutter open your eyes. Okay. You may have an energetic response right now. You may feel a little tingling, so you may want to just shake your body out a little bit. Hold on to that idea, that thought, maybe that scent of the flower, the color of that flower. Flutter open your eyes. Gently find your seat and come back and have a seat.
Athena.
She's like,
I'm
Mom's
gonna
gonna
sit
sit
on
on me. Come
gonna
here.
sit on Oh, Athena took my
So
seat.
Oh.
I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Go for it.
What did you sense in your body? Did you feel a sensation of a yes or a no?
Well, it was definitely a
Or
yes for me.
My
did
body
you feel that? Mhm.
was very excited, like, oh, thank you for getting this energy going, like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then it's like, yeah, let's do this. This is exactly what we needed today. Like, because I was feeling really kind of stuck and drowned and like trying to figure out how to integrate all the things we've been doing. Like, we've been doing a lot of things. And I think that this is I did exactly what I needed today to integrate and be present with where I want to be. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, because sometimes I even get stuck. That's why I do my little hip dance all the time. But you'll notice in your body, it could be maybe throughout the day, maybe not today, but another day, that you'll feel that one side of your body feels very stark, very hard and congested. The other side of your body feels very soft. So you want to try to just shake it out, move that energy around and just shake it out. Or it may feel cold on one side or hot on the other side. Okay, so just move that energy out and think and write down your thoughts of what the reflections were, what was coming in from that. How could you make a simple practice when you get stuck, when you're in that creative process, you want to create something and then you get stuck? Like, what should I do? So just give yourself the invitation to experience the movement and then reflect on the sensations coming out of your body.
I love that. That is, I love that so much because as a practicing yogi, I feel it's really important to move your body in different ways to get that energy flowing and stuff like that. And I also feel like the best time to do that is first thing in the morning. One, because if you wait until later doesn't happen, right?
Right.
And then two,
you're right.
Because it really kind of sets the pace for the day and you go out into the world with a better mindset than when you started. Now, sometimes I don't necessarily always have time for the asana part of yoga. And instead I'll meditate for a few minutes when I don't have time to do like an hour of movement practice. But continuing to practice what makes me feel good every day and what moves that energy through my body is super important. So thank you so much, Susan, for sharing that with us today. I definitely feel a lot better than I did earlier because unfortunately I didn't really have a whole lot of time yet this morning. So I didn't get my meditation or anything in before our podcast this morning. So I really appreciate that because I feel like I just had a whole nother cup of coffee.
I do. I feel so energized. Like I'm like, okay, I was like winding down. Like we've been so busy, so much going on, and we've been learning so much and doing the work, right? And I was just like, I need to chill, like super hard. Now I'm like, let's go. I think that what a gift to yourself that you're making yourself a priority first thing in the morning.
And what was that, like 5 minutes maybe of just some
that's all
and standing there? That's something you guys can do at your desk, or I don't know, while you're waiting in line at the grocery store or, whatever. They might look at you funny.
While you're waiting to get on the subway.
Or that, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like what is it that you're doing that you're literally just like standing there? Like, wow, cool. This could be when the coffee pot's brewing, right? Like, or you're heating up your water for your morning tea. Like, this is like a great little thing you can do for yourself. Drink a glass of water. I like that because our bodies really wake up with water. That's a piece of waking up that people don't realize that when you drink a glass of water, it helps your body and your cells go, oh, we're awake. So it's like super amazing good for you to like wake up your body with a glass of water water and get moving. Like all of these things are like, if we're showing up for ourselves every day, this is just like the next step to showing up for ourselves every day. And if we're showing up for ourselves,
absolutely,
that's going to trickle out. We're going to teach our families and our children to show up for themselves. We're going to teach the people around us to show up for themselves. So it creates that effect, right? Everyone, and if what happens if everyone's showing up for themselves instead of being reactive to situations? Like where could we be?
There's some really cool stuff that happens even in my own family when we're all showing up for ourselves in a day, which all four of us showing up for ourselves the same day is like magic.
It is like magic, but
it
even
is a
just
really cool day.
changing the conversation about how we're talking to ourselves. Like my son will call me out, like, don't put your self-talk on this conversation, Mom. I'm like, I didn't mean to, like, you don't even realize you're doing it, but you give permission for those around you to help you and help them, because you don't want them to pick it up either.
Yeah, it's holding space.
Right, because the more you could create practices like this, you'll catch yourself like that. I mean, it happens to me too. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to go there. Right? So you change your language.
Yeah.
And language is your body. It's a vibration.
Sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to go there. And so now I have this like whiteboard, like in my brain of like, this is all the things we're not going to do. See, they're white. It's clear. We're not doing those. And so now I'm like to the point of where affirmations are actually helping me, because they're replacing those negative thoughts. So now I've broken the habit of doing the self-talk, of the negative talk as like the go-to. Now the affirmations are helping me create positive self-talk for myself.
Right.
So it's it's not, it's not that I didn't believe them before. It's just a different level.
And all of this goes really great with this week's Sutra topic of the week, which is Astanga, the 8 limbs of yoga. We're just beginning to talk about each of the 8 limbs over the next several weeks. And our quote this week is, practicing the limbs of yoga eliminates impurities and reveals the light of knowledge, leading a continuous and keen sense of discernment. Because when that energy is flowing, when our mental clarity is there, because the energy is flowing and things are happening, we have that keen discernment to know what is and isn't for us, what is serving us and what's not.
What a great gift for yourself.
It is a great gift to give yourself.
It's a hard work to get there, but I would have to say to someone who is struggling that these are great tools to get you there. Because I've definitely been in the place where
we're learning and growing every day. And you guys get to witness that. So, we did quite a bit of growth in order to even get here, but there's always more room to grow and more room to improve. And so anyway.
So on that note, as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs in our communities, it is important for us to remember to be giving back. It's very good for our hearts and souls to give. And that is the basis of this quarter's cause of the quarter, sponsored by the Dogs of Podcast. And it's called the Boogie Bin. And they are a local organization. I say organization, it's one gal.
It's a local nonprofit. And so Jill, she's amazing. She puts out these boogie bins. They're basically trash cans out at different locations to collect pet supplies, pet food. Maybe your puppy outgrew their harness or whatever the case may be. They take those things and they donate them to other causes and organizations that can use every single thing that is donated.
Yeah,
and
really
each
cool.
month there's a different cause. So even if the thing you donate doesn't necessarily fit that cause, she will find a home for that. And it's just a really, really great organization and a great way to help our furry friends.
and she doesn't want to grow too much bigger than she is, but she is open to helping you plant the seeds in your community to do the same thing. So
Right.
it's a really cool.
It is
So.
very cool. So check out all the Boogie Bin links in the comments.
And she will be on the podcast in May where we talk more extensively about it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to
Great.
it.
As always, all of our links are dropped down below. Susan's information is here. Susan, you included a free thing for our listeners
PDF
today. So,
Yes.
and I dropped a link for that, and it will be on your blog post as well. So, would you mind telling us what you're gifting us with? It seems so magical to me.
It's all about waking up your feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a 3-step process in there so you could follow it. It's really, really simple. And if you practice these little processes every day or maybe a couple of times a week, you'll feel a difference in how your energy feels.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
How your body feels, really. And how you walk through the world in the world that we live in right now. Maybe.
Right.
The energy of the world won't bother you so much anymore.
What if the energy of the world didn't bother you so much anymore? Like, that's a big question, right?
It is. It is.
Well,
a really big question.
there's a lot of, I'm probably one of the rare ones. I don't know. I don't have a TV, so I don't have cable TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that many apps on my phone, so I don't even read the news. But do I know what's going on? I do know what's going on because friends text me and then I go look at the news because they know I'm in New York City a lot and I know what's going on there. And one thing I can say about New York City, it's a spiritual, magical, sacred place. It actually does have a sacred vortex going through it. However, it is in chaos right now. It is in turmoil. And that doesn't fear me because it needs a lot of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe energetically with the work that I do, even if it helps the cells of human bodies as I walk through the streets, I'm happy and I'm inspired. So if we could think of doing something great for maybe even a neighbor, or just saying hello or goodbye or have a great day, being kind or asking a neighbor if they have help or carry a bag for someone, all of that will help us with this strange disconnect that we have going on right now in the world.
I love that. We talk about that a lot. Just, giving someone a compliment when you see that they're just having a hard time, and you can watch their energy shift. Like,
or even if you just even if they don't, maybe you see them and maybe it doesn't look like they're having a hard time, but you feel that maybe they need that positive energy, and share it with them.
If you feel that pull, just share something with someone. Like, it's a free gift you can give them and your community and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, because it's changing that vibrational flow we have through it. So we're slowly healing when we do these things for each other.
Yes. And see, Heather, you said that perfectly, because every time we send that beautiful energy out in the world, it's healing us, it's healing our family, it's healing our communities, it's helping heal the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Connie says a hug, a smile. What else did she say? There was one that I thought,
a hug and a smile. Exactly. It's free to just be nice. It is free to be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Susan, we are so blessed by you always.
Oh,
and we always learn something about ourselves and about how we interact with the world when we're with you. So thank you for your wisdom and your beautiful feminine energy today.
Thank you.
Truly, really appreciate you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out. We love having you guys here on the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. Come and be part of the conversation and check out our website at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Namaste.
Namaste.